endless skies. Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive, I thrive.
So then, well, thank you so much for joining us here on Nomads 50 Plus. My name's Chris Kalaboukis, and it is my mission, my current mission, to interview 1,000 digital nomads. That's right, folks, 1,000 digital nomads to help make it less scary to people who are aspiring to get into the life, because everybody I've ever interviewed so far has been incredibly happy. And we have a very special guest today. And why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into life?
Hey, Chris, thank you so much for having me today. I'm really excited to be here. I am Nancy. I'm with Making My Own Lane.
Are you the Nancy? Like
just Nancy. The Nancy, yes, just Nancy. And Nancy Carter is my full name, with Making My Own Lane.
Nice.
And 55 plus solo full-time female RVer.
Wow. You have to pack all those. Does it fit in your Twitter profile is the question.
I don't have it. Is it X now? I don't have an X.
X, Twitter, Instagram, yes, whatever.
It all fits.
Very cool. So how did you decide to get into it?
Well, long story short, I bought an RV basically to just drive around and be with my friends as they went in their RVs. And I bought a small Class C, a used Class C. For one, I could pay it in full. For two, I felt I could drive it. And the next day I quit my job unintentionally.
Whoa. Yeah. You loved it that much that you just quit?
Yeah, they really were not related at the time.
Oh, okay.
So that was 2022. At the end of 2022, I had been in a job with a corporate job in sales for about 14 years. And I just reached the end of my rope.
Yes.
And
your soul had been completely sucked out. And now it's time to bring it back in.
It took 2 years to heal. Yes. And I was around the holidays, and I just sat and enjoyed the holidays. And then in January, I felt maybe I should start to look for another job. And I did, and it just didn't go well. So I got frustrated with it and really looked at my finances, and I'd always wanted to go full time and travel. And how could I make this happen with the resources that I already have? And I felt that if I sold my house, I'd be able to do that. I couldn't maintain a home and do this.
Right.
So I sold my house, and it went on the market I cleaned it out. I'd been in the house for about 20 years. It was a 2,700 square foot house on almost with a pool. But my kids were gone. They weren't coming home. All I was doing was working to maintain that home in that job. I had to figure that out in my head. And once I took the house away, it took away so much financial responsibility in general that I really didn't want to do anymore. And so I quit my job and decided to go full time. I was able to sell my house in about 3 days.
Nice.
They wanted, I know, really like that. It all worked out. We're gonna have a little visitor here. So this is one of my travelers.
Oh, cute.
And
then your kids never said, "Oh, Mom, we don't want you sell the house. Don't sell the house."
No, and that was the whole thing. If they had said that, then I probably wouldn't. I also thought that possibly my dad would come and live with me, because he was 89 at the time, and he made it very clear he did not want to move to Florida.
Who doesn't want to move to Florida?
No,
I mean, come on.
Everything was on one level. It's sunny all the time.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have had to do anything. I mean, I had a big enough house for both of us. Yeah. And so everyone made it very clear they were not interested in what I had to offer. So I said, it's time for me. I've taken care of other people for years, and it's time to put me first. And
nice. How old were you when you made that decision?
60.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then is it because what do you think the reason was you couldn't find another job? Is it because your heart wasn't really in it? Maybe?
No, I think it was the time of the silent firing and hiring.
Oh yeah.
Remember those days? And I had the feeling that they were taking my resume and just putting it in a pile.
Right.
And that was pretty much confirmed in June, when I started to get a bunch of requests for interviews. But by then I'd already made my decision. My house was sold, and I was touring the country. So,
Yeah. And you didn't really want a corporate job again anyway, right? I mean,
no, never, ever, ever. No, I did it for a long time. And I'm glad I did it. I mean, it provided me with the resources to do what I'm doing now.
sure.
But no. No.
So have you always wanted to travel? Was this something like that you've had all your life? This
I've always
desire?
tried, even in my 20s, or I would just decide to take off for the weekend, throw a sleeping bag in the back of my car, and wherever I ended up, usually at a beach in New Jersey down the shore, or skiing in Vermont or New York. I had different friends all over the place, and I would just crash on their floor for the night.
Nice.
So it was I didn't have anyone to take care of or to be responsible to. So it was very nice.
So it's kind of like you're reliving that life again now with more resources.
Yes. My first year on the road, I really felt, because I went from Florida to Maine, and I grew up in New Jersey. So I was very familiar with the area. And I really felt like I was a kid just back at summer camp again for the summer.
Mm-hmm.
I still feel that way. It's wonderful.
Nice.
There's activities and hikes and campfires, and I'm just a big kid.
Yeah, it's funny because you had your house is something you had to maintain and keep paying into because you had property taxes and everything else,
Exactly.
and then it just sort of it went from a place to live to kind of a burden, right?
It did, and it only got worse after I left because of the Florida situation.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had stayed, my property taxes probably would have tripled.
Whoa.
My insurance possibly would have tripled. So I would be really trying to figure out right now how to afford everything,
Right.
and more miserable than ever. I'm 100% sure of it.
Wow. Yeah, I know. It's almost like you're de-incentivized now. It used to be like the American dream was like do all of these things and own a house, picket fence, all of that stuff. And now it's like there's so much de-incentivizing that it's hard for people to get to that point, especially my kids. My kids are having real trouble getting to the point where they could actually afford something, especially in Silicon Valley, which is insane.
Yeah. Florida's the same way. My kids are in Florida. One of them owns a home. She bought it before this nightmare. I don't know how they're doing it right now with the insurance increase. My other daughter, I've kind of said, just wait a while, see where things kind of level out. And I'm still looking for a place that I would like to live.
Well, you want to stop? You're done with the van or
No,
the RV?
I decided I need two places.
Okay.
Two like satellite bases where I can travel out from, one in the east and one in the west.
Ooh, great idea.
Yeah. And I don't think it's ever going to involve a house, like a real sticks and bricks house again. I did that. And I was a single parent. So I had to learn how to do everything myself or pay to have it done. Not much different than the RV, actually.
Right.
So it was a good practice. If you're a single parent, then you can do this.
Right.
And if you have a partner, then they can help. So either way, it's a win-win.
Very cool. So where have you been? Have you been all over the entire country, or where have you been?
I've been up to Maine. Last year, I went from Florida to Minnesota and back. This year, I was planning on going out west, but last year was very challenging with a lot of fixes and traveling really hard and quick, and a lot of boondocking for 1 or 2 nights at a time. And this year, I just kind of needed a little bit of a break and a confidence boost. I think that sometimes I've talked to a lot of people, and after 2 years, it's that breaking point. Am I going to continue with this, or am I going to stop?
Interesting.
And I really wanted to continue. So I'm glad I just slowed down a little bit this year. I went back to West Virginia and Kentucky, where I really enjoyed spending time, and did a lot of the little things. Like I did the Bourbon Trail this year that I didn't get to do last year.
Nice. I would want to do that. I hear it's great.
I only did it for about 4 days because there's so much to do, but it was
4 days of bourbon seems like a lot.
But there's hundreds of stops.
Oh, you bet. I bet.
Yes, and they're spread out like over 200 miles. It's not like Pigeon Forge where you go from one to the other to the other. It's spread out. So you pick and choose what you want to do and where you're going. And then I went to the Keys. I spent 6 weeks in the Keys.
Oh, I love the Keys. The Keys are beautiful.
Yeah, it was just a nice, relaxing year to spend time with friends and family. Right now, I'm parked in Pennsylvania at my sister's house for a month with my dad. That's where he ended up living. Not me, but my sister. So it's nice to just, open my door, go have coffee with him in the morning, dinner in the afternoon. and still have my own place to come back to.
Nice. So is this the same RV you had when you first started, or have you upgraded?
I have not upgraded because it's a great travel RV.
Mm.
So it's a 2005 Lazy Days from California. You should probably know it. It's not the Lazy Days dealership. It's the Lazy Days manufacturer.
Mm-hmm.
So they only made Class C's probably from the 50s until about 2023. No slide outs, 3 different sizes. Very simple, very easy to maintain.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as I'm traveling, this is the perfect size for travel.
Nice.
I don't think I could handle a 5th wheel or a travel trailer or anything like that.
What would you say was the biggest surprise when you were transitioning from being in a home to being in an RV?
Biggest surprise. That's a good question. I don't know.
You weren't surprised. You'd been RVing already, so there was nothing really surprised you. Right?
Yes, it was. Yeah. I mean, I expected everything. I guess the surprise was that the things I expected actually happened. So because you see things, I watched a lot of YouTube. I looked at every different type of RV before I bought mine. I actually found mine on YouTube. She was famous on Instagram and YouTube before I found her. I didn't even know that.
Wow.
So a lot of people will recognize my RV before they recognize me.
Nice. But do you have it like bold colors? Does it have a wrap on it or something with your brand name on it or anything like that?
No, I don't want to do that because I figured if I make trouble on the road, I don't want
you don't.
But
like...
I have a massive solar system that's very recognizable on top of the RV.
Nice.
So in fact, now I'm living on solar in Pennsylvania for 30 days.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Testing it out for out west next year. I knew it's possible and I've done it before, but it's very comfortable. And the more I do it, the more I understand the system and understand how it works and how to use it and get the maximum out of it. But people recognize that solar on top.
So was it hard for you to get rid of your house? Like get rid of all the stuff in your house and get rid of your house? Like, did you have some emotional moments there, or?
I did not get a storage unit right away. There were times that could have been very challenging, but I think because I had to do it so quickly, I sold my house in 3 days and they wanted me out in less than 30 days.
Wow. You didn't have time to think, basically.
I really didn't. So it was just like, I've had a list of things that needed to be done and a bunch of people I got involved to help. And it was, you detach from it eventually. And there were a lot of things that were my kids in the house. So I just took them and loaded them in Rubbermaid buckets and brought it to their houses.
Smart.
Well, they kept on saying, we're going to come. And I'm like, you don't understand. This is going very quickly. You can't come in 3 weeks. The house is going to be gone.
Yep. That's kids. They keep saying,
yeah,
they keep telling you they're going to come and then they don't.
No, I mean, they've been coming for 10 years, and that was, I got the most angry at one of my daughters for having all the stuff in my house that was hers. Every nook, every cranny, every drawer. I'm like, how did you cram so much stuff in here? And it wasn't mine to get rid of. It was theirs. So even their artwork from kindergarten. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Hey, my garage is a storage unit for my kids too, so I think it's a common thing.
Well, and that's true. And if you stay in the same house for 50 years, we cleaned out my dad's house last year, and it was I thought I would never have to do it again. But I had to do it again, and it was the same thing. I just had to detach from everything in that house, and the goal was to not be there anymore.
Yeah, I mean, the longer you're in a house, the more you collect, right? So it's almost like moving. Every few years makes it much easier to move or much easier to have fewer things. But every time you stop somewhere, it just seems to grow and duplicate somehow.
Also, you're working full time and you probably have money and you go shopping and you bring it home and you put it somewhere and forget you have it or never use it and never return it. And you have, I think you will fill the space that you're in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
and the other part is you don't have time to actually get rid of stuff, right? Because I'm sitting in my office right now and I'm looking around like I have all of this stuff that do I really want it? I don't
Yes.
don't want all of it, but when am I going to have time to sit down and do something about it, right? That's the problem with working full time.
I had taken over the, like, even after my kids moved out, I'd taken periods of like blocks of time and I'd work on a certain thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just had more room to put more stuff back in it again.
Exactly.
So, and I don't need as many clothes. I don't need as many dishes and glasses and cups and all the stuff that we all hold on to that honestly no one else wants either.
That's true.
So
I read an article on that saying, no, kids, you don't want any of their parents' stuff.
No, they really don't. And I had them come. I'm like, if you want this, you take it. And they took some very odd things.
Mm-hmm. You always do. It's like, you really want this?
Is that what you choose out of everything in this house? Why would you choose that? But they did. And I also gave it to them. And I like going to their houses and seeing some of my stuff. I'm like, oh, that's really pretty. Where did you get it?
It's like, it's yours, Mom.
I still like it. I still like it. But I gave it to them and told them, if you don't want this anymore, it's yours. You do with it, but you don't have to ask me. Because another thing that I had in my house was other people that had passed on and left their stuff to me. That had all their treasures, like a baseball from 1950 from a game that someone went to. No signatures, nothing on it.
Oh, wow.
But it was someone's treasure that they felt it was important that I had.
Right.
No. I don't want this stuff.
Once it's yours, it's fair game to do whatever you want with it.
Story behind it. You know, they have there's a story behind every one of your things that you have, like all the things on your wall behind you. There's probably
there's a story behind everything.
I didn't even know the stories. So it wasn't, but people do that. And it's just, you know, generational giving. And I literally had things from the 1850s that probably belonged in a museum.
Wow. You should have donated them or at least found somebody.
Oh, they went somewhere. I'm not quite sure where. Maybe they're in a museum. Maybe but I couldn't think about that because what I did was I knew the size of my RV because it was sitting in my backyard. And that was the best house sale I ever had because I had a 30 amp in my backyard and a place to park the RV. So I pretty much moved into the RV during the house sale.
Nice. So everything you wanted was in the RV, and then everything you didn't want was still in the house.
Yes. And everything that was still in the house had to go.
Right. And then you had your kids come. Oh, so you took your stuff to your kids, and then did you have garage sales, or how did you eventually empty the house?
I took a lot of stuff to Goodwill, and I know Goodwill doesn't necessarily, I like Goodwill, and I took a lot of stuff to Goodwill. I sold the little things on eBay that I could, and what I got the most money for were like the kids' video games.
Yes, those were worth a lot.
They were worth a lot, and they were easy to sell, easy to ship. The bigger things I couldn't do that with, and then anything left in the house, I had found an estate sale. And we did the same thing with my dad. But in Florida, I got really lucky because within their contract, anything that didn't sell, they would remove from the house.
Nice.
And I held them to everything. Old paint cans, everything. That was
all that junk that you go, what are we going to do with this? Right.
They were responsible to get rid of. I didn't get that advantage with my dad in New Jersey. We actually had to pay someone.
Wow.
Move stuff in his house eventually. In my house, they took everything and cleaned it out. All I had to do is mop the floors.
Wow. So then you sold your house, and then you had funding from the house, and that's what you're using to fund your travels. You're still using that amount to fund your travels, or?
I really haven't touched that amount.
Oh, nice. Good for you.
I paid off any debt that I had. You know, because basically I'd been living on credit cards for 20 years, raising 2 kids on my own and trying to maintain a house. I'd found that I'd saved a lot more in my job. I had a matching 401k that at one point 8%, and I took full advantage of that. So I had that money. It might not have been as much as some other people have, but it's enough to get by on. It doesn't cost as much to live in this lifestyle, even doing everything that I want to do, eating out, you know, all the activities that I want to do, the gas, staying in campsites every night.
Yeah.
So I use 1,000 Trails, and I bought that membership, and that has paid for itself 3 times over already.
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
if you calculated how much you were spending maintaining that home compared to what you're spending today, was it like half, third, like
About half.
1/10?
Yep.
Wow.
Because in Florida, you have a pool that you have to run every year. You have electricity, maintaining the house. I had a lawn crew. You need a new roof. You need a new air conditioner, a new hot water heater. Those were all, you have to include them, and
Yep.
they added up.
Yeah. But do you miss having that one place, that home?
No, I think right now, this year I did get a small storage unit, and I took some of the things that I'd saved out. So I'm traveling lighter, like the old pictures and things like that mean nothing to anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be nice. It would be nice to have a place sometimes where I don't have to move every 2 or 3 weeks.
Right.
Like,
Because right now you do? Because
I
is
do.
that the
Yeah.
nature of camping?
It's the nature of Thousand Trails. The Thousand Trails.
Come on, 1,000 trails. Let me stay here for a month. Come on. Can't you do that?
And you can, but the rules are different. And I can stay for 6 months as long as I want to pay for it.
Right.
But right now, I think I pay under $200 a month, and I can any Thousand Trails campsite I want to.
But you can only stay for 2 weeks maximum. Is that it?
2 to 3 weeks, depending on the time of year and where you are.
Mm.
And you have to make sure that there's 1,000 trails near you. So last year when I traveled into the Upper Peninsula, there were not so many Thousand Trails.
Right.
So I stayed in a lot of state parks, a lot of harvest hosts, and I moved around like every 2 to 3 days sometimes. It was a lot. Next year, when I go out west, I'm going to look for campgrounds that I can stay in for a month.
Mm. Do you have to do a lot of planning ahead of time for all this? I mean,
yes.
To go. Okay. so before it was like, okay, I don't have to worry where I am. Now I'm like, okay, I need to map myself out for the next 6 months. Is that
pretty much? Thousand Trails, I have 180-day booking window. So yes, 6 months.
Wow.
This trip out west next year, I have an app that I use called Road Trippers, and it helps you to see, because your map could look like, I have dog hair. I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here, I'm going here. And it kind of puts it all into place, and then you take things out. Or it lets you group, okay, I'm going to be in this area, and this area, and this area. So it kind of organizes you and allows you to stay more efficiently and better, and maybe look for a campground. I'm staying here for 30 days, and this is the first time in 2.5 years I've stayed anywhere for 30 days.
Wow. And can it, I know we talked about it before the show, about Wi-Fi. Does Road Trippers help you determine where the Wi-Fi is best? Because I know people who are...
It does have reviews. It does have reviews. There's Campendium is part of Road Trippers that I don't think you have to have Road Trippers to access. So Campendium does campground reviews. It also does like dispersed camping reviews and shows you how to find things, which I'm looking forward to using next year out west.
Mm-hmm.
In the east, dispersed camping is not so big. So you need a place to stay, in my opinion.
So you've been able to fund your travels not from your savings, but from what you're doing now. You have a content creation business, or what do you? I do.
I'm working on that. That's slowly growing.
Okay, great.
Are you
on Substack? Because I'll link to you on Substack if you're on Substack.
Substack. I thought about. I know a lot of people on Substack. I started out with a blog about a year and a half ago, just to see if I could do anything.
Right.
Because when you first start, you're so overwhelmed with everything that you have to learn. And I like to write, so I started a blog, and that kind of took off. So then I went on. Then I did Pinterest, which to lead to the blog. And I had a podcast about in 2018.
Oh, cool.
Still out there.
Welcome, fellow podcaster.
Yes. And I did that while I was working, and it was a lot of fun. So I learned a lot of the social media aspect of it and the, website aspect. So all my learning curve as far as that was concerned was probably cut in by 75%.
Right.
So when you start a podcast or YouTube, there's so much learning involved. And I felt like I could create my email list or things
Mhm.
like that I knew what I wanted to do. And then I went on Instagram because I felt like that's where I was supposed to be. And I made a lot of good contacts and a lot of good friends on Instagram. And then about a year ago, I said, I have all this great footage and I'm learning a little bit about video. So let's try YouTube. And YouTube
Nice.
has actually been my biggest and most rewarding platform.
Oh, fantastic. That's great. So have you been able to fund your travels from your YouTube channel?
It's coming. Between affiliate marketing and YouTube, it supplements it. It
Mhm.
doesn't pay for everything, but it supplements it. So you just, right now, a lot of it too, the stock market has been pretty good. So I've been able to live off not so much the original amount, but the amount that it's earned, which is
Right.
the best financial suggestion, I'm sure.
Right.
But that's okay.
And so how many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
I think I'm at like 5,300.
Nice. Congratulations. That's great.
Thank you. So it's growing and it's fun, and I've met a lot of nice people on YouTube from other YouTube channels that we kind of like a little networking group.
Nice.
And it's the same thing with Instagram. I belong to this group called RV Queens.
I love it.
So it's a group of women who are RVing and working from the road or trying to the road. And I've learned a lot with them. And it's more of the camaraderie. We all seem to end up at Thousand Trails Orlando in the winter. So we meet each other.
It's like a meetup.
It's a big meetup. When I get back to Orlando, it's like a 3-month meetup.
Nice. So what's your content creation schedule? I mean, how much time do you spend creating stuff for your channels, your various channels?
Right now, probably about 30 hours a week. It's grown a little bit. It goes up, but it's like 4 hours here, 5 hours here. It's also kind of more of the business aspect of it now too, like the behind the scenes, like, oh, I need to fix that. Like, for example, I thought that my website was making myownlane.com. I thought the domain was on auto.
Uh-oh. I hate when that happens.
Well, it said it was, and I looked yesterday and it said it was doing it. And then I went and checked today and the website was down.
Oh, no.
And I had to press the button to pay for it on the same credit card that was already there. And I was able to fix that. But it's the behind the scenes things that you need to keep track of.
Right.
A little bit more. And yes, the email aspect
the
of
technology is usually a problem.
My email list has really grown a lot over the past year. So, how to keep in touch with people. And at the same time, you want to share where you are, but you also want to be careful. That's one thing I really am very concerned about with solo RVing is the safety of it and how that fits in, which is another reason I took Thousand Trails, because you're basically in a gated community every night.
Right. So do you have a projection as to when you might get to the point where you'd be able to completely fund your travels from your online work?
Do you really want the answer to that? Probably never.
But isn't it shooting up? Like you have a business plan, right? It's like
you have a business plan. Maybe it seems like the people who've been on YouTube for 3 or 4 years do better.
Yeah.
And
takes longer. It takes a longer time.
It's not overnight. It's not overnight. And that's okay. I kind of planned for that. And I even though I pretty much spend what I want, I also do watch my spending, like not paying for a campsite for a month versus using my Thousand Trails and just having it $200 a month. I mean, those are the things you look at. Like I just saved $800 right there.
Yeah. But your budgeting is a lot easier now, right? Because you know exactly what you're spending money on, as opposed to it's kind of like, there's all this stuff coming out of your account when you're in a home that you don't even remember, you don't even know about.
Well,
whereas now
you can project. Like last year, I had a lot of maintenance costs, a lot. This year, I traveled not as far, but I also had some health things, minor. I wanted to get cataract surgery. Even though I have health insurance, cataract surgery is never covered. I I had some dental things I wanted to do. I have another thing I'll do when I get back to Florida. So I kind of just took the money from the maintenance and put it over on that side of it. And luckily the maintenance was not bad this year.
That's good. Actually, it's a good segue into the health stuff, because that's the next question I wanted to ask you. It's like, so when you were at home, you had your doctors, you had doctor or doctors, and you had your healthcare where you were, and then now you're on the road. How did the transition feel? I mean, did you have any issues finding healthcare on the road, or how did that work?
It was much easier than I thought it would be. Honestly,
Okay.
that was one of my biggest fears. I need a job because I have to have healthcare.
Yeah. I mean, that's what 90% of people who are aspiring are like, oh my God, what am I going to do without healthcare? Right? What am I going to do without a job? So that's.
Yes. And with the timing that I quit my job, I quit in the end of December. So when I started to look for healthcare in January and they asked how much I made a year, it really was zero.
Mm-hmm.
So when you make zero, you can project how much you're going to make. You can project. So I projected an amount of how much I needed to live that year, put that down as my income. And it seems like it's poverty level. So I got health insurance for quite a bit, for a very reasonable amount.
Mm-hmm.
And as I've been using this health insurance, I realized that it's as good, if not better, than my very expensive corporate health plan.
Wow.
So
this is Florida? Like
Florida. And you asked earlier what was my biggest surprise. That probably would have been it. That healthcare was much more reasonable as someone who did not make a six-figure income than it was to someone who did that.
So when you were with your company, did they pay for any of it, or did you still have to pay for some of it?
I paid for some of it.
Mm.
They said they paid for some of it, but the amount that it cost overall doesn't make sense to me still.
Because now you're paying less and you're getting the same level of care.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
It's a big scam.
I'm not going there, Chris.
Because I'm telling my wife, it's like, when I retire, we're just gonna, before even if I retire before 65, then we can just go on regular healthcare and it'll be probably just as good. And she's like, no, the corporate healthcare is great. So I'm not going to go to that argument either.
Corporate healthcare. Some corporate healthcares, I'm sure, are better than others.
Mm-hmm.
Worked for a large company, Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, Fortune 7. They were up there, and yeah, it was very, very, very expensive for not the coverage that I feel like I get now. I paid more for prescriptions on that plan than I do on my plan now. A lot.
So but did you research that ahead of time? Just said, okay, now that I've left my, okay.
I had no idea what I was doing. Because like I said, there's so much you're trying to learn all at once that you're just like, I'm happy I have healthcare. We'll see how it goes, and if it doesn't go, it doesn't go. But, I always looked at the maximum out-of-pocket catastrophic.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can afford that maximum out-of-pocket, that's the most it would cost me in a year, I'm okay.
Right.
And I have come nowhere near hitting that, luckily. I would like dental. That would be nice to have. Mm. And in 2 years, I'll have dental.
On the calendar, 2027.
Yeah, birthday. Yeah, definitely.
Have you have you had any trouble with healthcare when you've needed it when you were somewhere else?
No. I had to, because I also moved from, like, my main place I hang out is in the same state. It's in Florida, but it's more central Florida. So I had to find doctors all through central Florida. Mm. So I had to re-find everybody, doctors, dentists, everybody. And I luckily have found some very good ones. What was the question?
When you were out like away from your home base, did you have trouble finding healthcare?
I really haven't needed, knock on wood, doctors while I've been away. I am right now refilling a prescription from Florida that they messed up 3 months ago before I left Florida.
Ooh.
And I gave myself 3 days to do it, but when they transferred it over to a different drugstore, I don't know what happened, but they messed it up. and then they couldn't get it in time. And I was getting it in advance. I really didn't need it.
Right.
So in Pennsylvania, it's a national chain of drugstores, and I can pick it up tomorrow.
So you can actually have, so if you needed a drug and you were in Pennsylvania or out west or whatever, your pharmacy here would be able to send it there?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, as long as you use a national chain, and national chains are huge for that.
Yeah.
Also do the same thing for my dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I do everything through Petco and Vetco. So no matter where I go, my dog is groomed at Petco, and they have
Nice.
all the information about him. I'm on a program where I save money. Vetco is through Petco, so Vetco they have all my dog's information.
Right. So this is a great segue, because I was going to ask you about your pets.
Segues, we're doing good with segues.
You're one of the few people who actually does travel with pets. So
Really?
tell me about that. I mean, have you had any challenges or?
Everybody I know who travels with pets.
Really?
Dogs, bearded dragons, birds. They do. Everybody I know almost everybody I know.
I think the people who travel domestically all have pets, but I think the people
Yes.
who travel internationally, it's very small number have pets because of all those rules and regulations.
Yeah, which is one reason I have not been to Canada yet. It just sounds very difficult. Although people do it all the time with pets and they're fine.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But you know what happens for them, it's fine. But when you do it.
Yeah. Right now, there's just still so much to see in the US.
Oh yeah.
But traveling with pets, they're wonderful companions. You do have to take precautions.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, if it's too hot, too cold. I do have a little thermometer from Amazon that was like $18, so I can check in and see what the temperature is in the RV.
Oh, cool. So you can check in on your phone to see what the temperature is. Nice.
Yeah. And I usually don't when I'm traveling. Most of the time I'm only gone for like 4 or 5 hours at a time. And I'm usually only about 45 minutes to an hour away.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get an alert that temperature is going up, I can stop what I'm doing and get back, which I haven't had to do yet.
Can you remotely turn on your AC and stuff like that? Or I guess you can't.
I'm working on it. So I have my RV came with a mini split, which is where a lot of RVs are going.
Yep.
But it did not have Wi-Fi, but it does run off the solar. So the AC runs off my solar. I don't need to be plugged in. Or if the power fails, then my AC will still run.
Yeah. And I'm assuming it has a thermostat, so it could turn itself on when it gets too hot.
It does, but I can't turn it on and off from anywhere. So I did get a portable AC unit this year because it was very, very hot in the Keys. Even a 27-foot, square foot area, trying to keep that cool in 97-degree Key weather.
Oh yeah, and you don't have the same levels of insulation, I'm assuming too, right?
I think the insulation is pretty good. I did put up that silver stuff in every window. I have thermal curtains everywhere. I did the best I could.
Nice.
But to have that portable AC that I can turn on and off from anywhere, that does have Wi-Fi. That was a huge thing.
And you haven't had any challenges with your pets then? They're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, an occasional vet visit or something like that. I usually try. They're pretty easy keepers, luckily. So, and I get their yearly vet visits done when I'm in the Orlando area, and their shots. And the biggest thing is just making sure that you have their papers.
Yeah. And the Petco thing is really helpful because, like you said, you can go into any one of them and they have all your information and all that, right?
Right, for grooming. But I have their shot records on my phone.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that in New York State especially, they want to see that. That's the only state that's asked for it.
Really?
But New York State, state campgrounds, every single one I went to last year, I had to prove vaccination and things like that. So you want to make sure you definitely have that.
Yeah. So let's talk about tech a little bit. Earlier on, we were talking about Wi-Fi and Wi-Fi issues. And is that like the number one thing that you encounter as a problem as you're traveling around?
As far as tech?
Yeah.
Yes. You just never know when you're going to have it and when you don't. And even when you think you're going to have it, you might not. And even when you don't have it at 10 o'clock in the morning, you might have it very well at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Right. So it depends on the campsite that you're at.
I don't know what it depends on, Chris. Because I could be in the same campsite at 10 o'clock in the morning and it's not working. And I'll get frustrated and I'll say, oh, I guess I'm not going to have anything while I'm here. And then you try again at 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you can upload, download, do whatever you want. So it's just a matter of not giving up, not taking no for an answer. Sometimes I use T-Mobile Home. So it could just be who moved in next to me that's also on T-Mobile Home.
Yeah, you're sharing the same bit of bandwidth or whatever.
Yeah. Yes. And I honestly think they throttle as well sometimes.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, they say they don't, but I think they do.
So the T-Mobile Home, you can actually just take it with you and go wherever you want?
You can.
Wow, that's cool.
So as I'm driving down the road, I have internet.
Because it leverages the T-Mobile network. So wherever T-Mobile has signal,
yes,
you have internet.
Yes.
And it's almost the same as being as tethering your phone to your internet, right? Kind of the same sort of concept.
It's tethering would be to me if you have an iPhone or something, and like I also have AT&T on my iPhone. So if my T-Mobile's not working, then I can try and tether to my iPhone.
Right.
But this T-Mobile is basically like what you'd have in your house.
Right.
That you're just connected to.
Yeah. But it uses the mobile network for communication.
Yes.
Right. So you don't necessarily, you don't have to be plugged into a wall or anything. You can be, it's kind of like the landline version of Starlink.
You do have to have electricity.
Right.
And for Starlink, you do too.
Mm-hmm.
But because I have the solar, my electricity runs all the time and it's just connected. Whoops. Sorry. Connected like
That's
a
all
hat.
right.
Yeah.
So did you have to put the solar on separately or did it come with the...
Came with it.
Oh, nice.
Didn't even know I wanted that. That was not even on my list of things to get on the RV. Like my RV checked off a lot of boxes and that was just extra. And I didn't know what to do with it. Or I'm like, I really don't need this, but it seems like it's nice to have. And now it's one of the reasons that will keep me in this RV.
Wow. So do you highly recommend that?
I do, but to add it to an existing RV could cost you upwards of $20,000.
Whoa. Do you mind if I ask how much your RV was?
It was $45,000.
And was it used?
It was a 2005 Lazy Days RV. It had 60,000 miles on it.
That's not bad.
No, and it's a diesel, which is good and bad. So
you have trouble finding diesel fuel?
No, it's the engine itself.
Unnecessary complicated, right?
It's an E4, it's a Ford E450, and and it's on a van chassis, so everything has to fit in this small upfront area, including whatever turbos are up there and everything. So to get to anything, you have to rip out everything, which I've learned. I've learned more about mechanical stuff than I ever would want to.
Nice.
But for me to get in there and try and rip it out, so when you have a problem and they're not sure what it is, they just keep on going back farther and farther until they find out what the root of it is.
Right. And you can just go to anybody, right, who works on RVs. Is that right? When you end up stranded somewhere?
I don't know.
If you've ever been.
Just pray. Well, the last time I got stuck was in Yeehaw Junction, Florida. And I had left Vero Beach, Florida, 1,000 trails there. And I was driving down, I guess, Route 60. And I noticed that my battery level was going down and down and down.
Uh-oh.
And I kept on turning things off in the RV. And it would go up for a little while. And then it went down and down and down. And right before I got on the turnpike, I had to make a decision. Am I going to get on the turnpike or am I going to go to the pilot rest stop? And by then it was basically at zero.
Oh,
so
no.
I loaded into the pilot rest stop and stopped. And literally it stopped. And I was pretty sure it was my alternator. Because
sounds like an alternator.
That's one thing I hadn't had fixed yet on here. And I started calling people in the area, like mobile RV mechanics. And basically the first two people told me that I was in the middle of nowhere and no one was going to come out. And I needed to get a tow truck somewhere. And I'm like, I'm in a pilot rest stop with a lot of trucks. That can't be true. That can't be true.
Yeah.
kept on looking, and I did find the best mobile RV repair guy who came out and in the parking lot changed my alternator out for me.
Nice.
So you just have to keep going. Since then, I've gotten an app called RV Help, which I haven't
RV
had
Help.
to use yet. RV Help. It's a newer app. It's designed to, there's a lot of things that it does. One of the things is to help you find mobile RV mechanics where you are.
Nice.
And I feel much better traveling with that. I've been really, really lucky with the things that have happened to me and the people who've helped me.
Very cool.
Even
So I
if
wanted
it
to ask, so did you ever have, let's go back to Wi-Fi for a second. Have you ever had issues where you had a webinar or something planned and then it just everything exploded? Or have you always been lucky enough to get online when you need to?
No. So
No.
with you, like, I mean, we started talking back in July,
Mm-hmm.
and I said I need to wait until I'm pretty sure. And I'm glad I waited, because when I was in Kentucky and West Virginia and even in the southeast West Pennsylvania, no. So I did try and do a YouTube live back in the beginning of September. And I told people if I have internet connection. And my internet connection seemed like it was good for about a minute and a half.
Oh, no.
And then it just went. And I'm like, well, I warned them, you know. I don't get upset about things as easily as I used to. It's just part of life. And,
Yeah.
you
So
know,
you find you find that your view of life has changed since you moved into this life. Do you find that?
I do. I've rebalanced. Not that, I mean, family has always been very important to me, but I've been able to rebalance things and live my life according to my priorities instead of having to focus around a job and their priorities.
Right.
Because they don't always understand family and things like that.
Yeah.
So in Florida, I'm near both of my daughters. I was able to help my one daughter with my granddaughter when she was first born for 6 months. Right now, I'm at my sister's house helping out with my dad for a month, visiting friends and spending time with them everywhere. Is just, you know, people are the priority.
Yeah. So you basically, you're free now. You're free to do what you want. Is that would that be the number one thing?
I won't run out of money.
But you're working on that. You're working on that.
Working on that, yes.
So what would you say to somebody who is contemplating this and thinking, they're listening to us right now and they're contemplating doing this? And what would be your best advice for somebody who wants to get into the life?
I think the first piece of advice, so that you kind of you know what you're getting into and seeing if it would really work for you. I think having your finances in some kind of order is so important. So I did create, I have a free download. It's an RV budget planning worksheet. So you can go on and put in your numbers, not my numbers, not your numbers, but whoever's using it, put in your actual numbers. And maintenance and things like that are a guesstimate, but you can get a pretty good idea or talk to someone about it or watch a YouTube video about it. But what do you need? Do you have a lot of medical bills? How much do you eat a month? Do you like to eat out? Where do you plan on going? All those things you can put in here. And I use mine. Every month I still update everything. So not only does it give you a pretty good guesstimate about how much this life on the road is going to cost and that you will need to fund it, but also, like this year, I knew I had some medical things, so I slowed down a little bit. You can see where you can pull from and slow down on so that you can spend the money this year.
Yeah, there's way more flexibility than if you lived in a home, because you've got your fixed mortgage, you've got your fixed expenses. You can move stuff around.
Fixed and rising.
That's right.
It's crazy. So, but I think that that's very important, is to just know what your budget is, and it also helps you to stay within your budget. So if you say I have $40,000 a year to do this, and you know you spend $30,000 in the first 3 months, you know, just keeping track of what you're spending and planning it out and knowing what your resources are.
Right.
And then also the next thing is, before you buy an RV, if you don't have one already, get an inspector.
Mm.
And our DVIA or something like that.
There's an association
inspection. Have them come out and look at everything. Again, everything might not be perfect, but you have an idea of what you're up against. Even if you're buying a new RV on an RV lot with all the stuff that's going on right now,
right.
spend $1,000 and get it inspected.
Mm-hmm.
So those would be my two biggest pieces of advice.
Right. and then just try it, like try it out. Just
try it
go
out
far before you actually sell your house and stuff like that.
Well, yes, and some people keep their houses and some people keep a storage unit. I tried it out. So once I bought the RV and I had it and I wasn't working, I would go on a week trip locally.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would go for a 2-week trip. And I did try it out for like moving around to different resorts, probably for 6 weeks. And then I put my house on the market. And I didn't want to go back. When I found that I was having more fun doing what I was doing and I really didn't want to go back to my house anymore, that's when I knew that it was time to go.
So you did a trial run.
Yes. Not everybody does, and some people that don't do very well, but I would do a trial run.
Is there any way you can trial without actually buying an RV? I mean, but renting is expensive though, isn't it?
I think it's expensive.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you're selling your house and changing your whole lifestyle, it's probably worth renting something for at least 2 or 3 weeks, and can you drive it?
Right. Yeah, because that's key. I mean, I think some people who are like, well, I don't even know if I can do this. Right. So they may not even sell their house in the end, because if they rent an RV for a couple of weeks and actually get on the road and experience it, they might go, well, this is not for me. Right. But if they don't do that, if they jump right into it, then they might end up not liking it. So it's probably better to just do that trial run.
I mean, if you were going to move your house to another state, you'd probably go check that area out first.
Right. So it's the same thing.
Yeah. Look where you're going. You don't want to, just because you're doing something different. Sorry, I have a frog in my throat.
That's okay.
Just because you're doing something different doesn't mean you're not taking your life with you. Your life follows you. So if you think you're going to move on the road and everything's going to get better than it is now, whether it's your marriage or your relationship with your kids or whatever it is, it's not going to get better. It's going to be challenged and tried. So you have to, what about my house is it that I really don't like? And you can't escape from life. There's always going to be things. It's just a matter of the level of things that you're willing to do. And downsizing into a smaller RV with less maintenance, hopefully. But you figure things out as you go. But I don't have I can figure out the maintenance because I don't have the struggles of some of the other things I had when I was in my life.
Right.
And I do have a plan B or C. I mean, there is a potential that if this RV gets too expensive to fix, that I might just leave it wherever it dies. And that's okay. You can't leave your house. You can't walk away from your house.
Yep.
I can walk away from this if I absolutely have to, which hopefully will never.
Fantastic.
But yeah, trying it out first, I think, is big. And going in it for a month is still not. I had been camping in one way, shape, or form probably since I've been 8.
Wow. So you're used to it.
So I'm used to it. I used to pop up. I had a little pop-up camper all over Florida with my daughters when they were younger, tent camping. So I had a pretty good idea of what this was like. But there are people who've never done it before and get out there and they absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I think we're running out of time. So thank you so much. This has been fantastic. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, what's the best way?
The best way is my website, makingmyownlane.com.
Mm-hmm.
And
keep that domain.
Keep that domain. And I'm making my own lane on all the platforms. So if someone just Googled making my own lane, I'm probably going to show up.
Excellent. Well, I'll put all the links to everything we talked about, and I made some notes on some of the tools that you were using too, so I can I'll put those in there. Do you get affiliate money from those tools as well?
I'll email them over to you.
Yes, please do. Please do. And I'll put them in all the show notes. So thank you so much. This has been great.
All right. Thank you so much, Chris. It's been really a pleasure. Thank you for having me, and good luck with the rest of your nomads.
Thank you. And have fun. Safe travels.
I will. Thank you.
Bye.
Oh, I'm living that nomad life, city to city, feeling alive. From mountain tops to ocean drives, unchained, I thrive, I thrive. Oh, I thrive.